All right. Namaste, great souls. Always wonderful to be here and share the practice together. And as I was saying before, this week is the focus on the Anahata chakra, the heart center, which I know it's one of my favorites. I'll speak for myself. And it's the energetic center, the connection between the lower three, which we've been working on, which are more about our developing our individual self. And then when we move into the heart, and then the combination of the upper and the lower meet in the center of the heart. And this is a lot about ourself and others. So energetically unifying our connection to ourselves and our connection to others. There's a horizontal axis, one of the only that chakras that goes horizontal. And so the hug, right? The hug is very symbolic of what this chakra is about, giving and receiving love and compassion, forgiveness. There's understanding, judgment. One of the shadow parts that comes up is, which our brain does, we know this, we judge, but what we really want to do is try to move into understanding of others, and then ideally compassion and forgiveness. And there's a lot to be said about that, as you know, and in your personal experience, but these are just core principles of the center. It can also have to do with envy. So you also want to notice if you envy something in somebody else, that you want to bring that back to how can you bring that in yourself. So self-compassion, compassion to others. Buddha consciousness is compassion, Christ consciousness, forgiveness, and Kuan Yin. All of the major religions have compassion and love and forgiveness that I know of as core principles. So without talking too much about it now, we'll go into the practice of opening the heart. And as I was saying, we really want to work with the shoulder and the neck energy, letting the shoulders come up, down, and around, but then having that stable base to support it. Because if we don't have that stable base, we'll feel it when we do more heart openers, which are classic of this pose, of this chakra. We'll feel it in the low back. So we want that stable base to help support the opening of the heart. Okay, I'm going to come back and have your props by your side, block, blanket, strap. And one of the classic mudras of the Anahata chakra is the lotus. So we're going to bring the thumb and little finger together and have the other fingers open. Lotus mudra. Closing the eyes, softening the shoulders. And just feel that connection on your next inhale from the belly to the heart. The energy can rise up through the crown as well, but we're focusing on then the heart back to the belly and rooting down through the sit bones. Several breaths here. We know the symbol of the lotus coming out of the mud into this beautiful opening, into the understanding. If you feel yourself judging, there's a metaphor of trying to look at it, that judgment, like a statue, trying to look at whoever or whatever you're judging from all kinds of points of view. We try to get out of your own self point of view, try to live in that other person's shoes. And even then it could be difficult, of course, but we can ask for understanding. And we can forgive without necessarily doing any rituals with that person. We could do rituals on our own of forgiveness, and for people that aren't on this plane as well. Okay. Crossing into eagle heart mudra. So when you're feeling you're wanting more, this is more for other, with the hands exposed, fingertips exposed. Now more for self-compassion, all we do is cross at the thumbs and bring the hands to the heart. And we're still yogic breathing here. Belly on the inhale expands, floor, ceiling, the heart opens, side walls of the chest. So the Dalai Lama will invite us into self-compassion for ourselves, as well as compassion and understanding toward others. We may not understand, but we're stretching. In this emotional area of the heart. The color is green. The quality, the element is air. And we're going to add our arm movement. So we're going to inhale and just kind of, as we expand those wings of joy, just feel the shoulder blades opening up. We're going to take a couple circles like this, bending at the elbows, which will get into the shoulder joints. I'm going to scoot back a little bit. Warming up the shoulders before we bring the arms up and over, interlocking, and then pressing the palms up. So we're rooting down through the sit bones. Notice how the low back wants to over arc. We're drawing the sacrum down, even though we're opening up. And think of it like a half moon seated. We're going to arc over to the right. This is too much on your back. Ease it up a little bit. Come back to center or stay in center. And of course, we can add that affirmation, strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Inhale, coming back up. Let's add the cactus arms, bending at the elbows. Before we go the other side, fingertips on the shoulders, circle. Again, feel the scapula. Wings of joy opening. We're opening to, as best as I'm open to the time change. I'm open to it being lighter later this weekend, and then, of course, spring in 2 weeks. Okay, before we go to the other side, let's bring the other foot in front. Expanding. Reaching up, interlocking, pressing up. Ease the shoulders a little bit down, tailbone definitely down, and then arcing over to the half moon to the other side. I gaze it gently up if that's too much on your neck, straight ahead. Affirming strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. See how that connects for you to understanding and forgiveness when the judgments come up. Inhale, lengthen up. And feel the space all around you. Reach behind you, or you can interlock, opening. If your neck's okay, our first classic considered back bend. You'll feel how the scapula is squeezing toward one another. And we're breathing in and out, opening the front, the back, and the sides of the chest. We know in shadow material, the challenging, the griefs, the losses, the traumas can get lodged in the back of the heart. So we want to compassionately open the back of the heart with support. Okay. Let's bring our legs in, shake them out a little bit. And we'll come into threading the needle. So this is definitely where I like a blanket for the knees. And open to loving kindness is another wonderful metta practice. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be blessed. May I know peace and ease as we Ease the hip side to side. Maybe happy. And we can wish that for others as well, specifically others, go the other direction, or globally. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be blessed. May they know peace and ease. And may they be happy. Okay, stabilizing the knees. Left fingertips face the right hand. The whole torso twists. Inhale. Sweeping that arm up. And then we thread the needle. We thread this right arm through. Resting on the right side of the head. Pressing. I'm walking my left hand out a little bit. And I'm pressing down and I'm rocking across the top side of the scalp here. You could rock, you could stabilize, you could stay here, or you can add on. Adding on can look a lot of different ways. One of them is extending the left leg and then possibly lifting it up. Several breaths, or keep that knee on the ground. Mostly feeling in the thread the needle, the back of the heart and the sides, but now I'm just adding on, always optional. And then let that knee, left knee come down, unfurl back. Before we go to the other side, let's extend the arms, stretching out in front. Forehead could touch, spiritual eye. Sometimes called puppy pose. Deep breaths. Really ventilate through the back of the heart. Let the back of the heart, you'll feel a movement there. Although we're not moving the outer body so much, but from the inside out, the breath is expanding and opening our heart center. And then we're going to slowly come back and weave in things to balance the heart chakra as well as the poses. So when you're ready, the right fingertips face the left hand. From the belly, the whole torso twists. Inhale, lengthen and grow. And then thread the needle. You can either have the left palm up or down. I'm moving my right hand a little bit more to the diagonal and I'm rocking across the top of the left side of the scalp. Getting that twist, shoulder opener, heart opener, and then possibly extending the right leg and lifting off. Hearing the sound of the breath. That's it. And 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, fold that knee back in, unfurl. And we'll do a regular cat-cow into down dog. Feel the shoulders warming up here. You can bend the elbows a little bit and circle. So you can do that movement as we were seating, and of course in different positions, and we'll be doing that through the class. Scooping up the low, mid, upper back. Inhale, eye gaze up. And exhale, rounded spine. So we can make that into an affirmation, the quality of the heart chakra as we inhale. I'm open. I love to give and receive love. I'm open and I love to give and receive love. And then we're going to hover off the knees. Keep pressing into the base of the fingers, especially the thumb. Pouring back to our full body stretch. Maybe easing from side to side through the hips. If you want to circle in that hula hoop way, inviting calmness and peace to radiate throughout every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. Now notice when we elongate, when the crown of the head draws like an anchor toward the earth, and then the sit bones lift to up and back. Feel the space between each vertebra. If you want to add breath of fire, draw the navel to the spine and the squeezing, integrating the second chakra to the fourth. That fire energy. Slow it down. Ripple before we start to walk. One foot forward, then the other hand. Uttanasana. See, balance between the 4 points of the feet, resting at the elbows with the palms up. You want to stay stable. You want to shake the head. Just stay in your forward bend. Get the blood flow to the brain. Relaxing any unnecessary mental burdens. So one of the nutritional aspects of the heart is to eat a lot of healthy greens. We know that green energy. Okay. Let's soften the knees quite a bit. Lift the heart, lift the head. Sweep the arms back. And when we're ready, we're going to come forward in our chair. Uttanasana. Keep the knees bent. One more sweep back. Releasing out those judgments. They come in. Just, of course they come in. Just be very curious. Can I understand? Can I look at whatever I'm judging from a bigger perspective? And understanding, try to link it when you feel the judgment. And maybe you don't understand, but then we can also rise up in our evolutionary cycle to forgiveness as we feel the space all around us. That Christ consciousness, Buddha's compassion. Bringing the hands either in our eagle heart mudra or the lotus flower mudra. So whatever you're wanting to invoke, more, this can be more self-compassion, compassion to others. Yield into the earth, our mountain pose, lengthening through the crown. It's so wonderful to know that there's the sun, it's always there, but we can, here in California, tune into it today. And let's bring in those prayers of care for others, visualizing them from the heart to the upper chakras, to the spiritual eye, to the crown. May those souls that we're bringing in with us on our mat, may they be at peace. May they know loving kindness. May they be blessed. May they be happy. Okay. All right, tapping into the spiritual eye, tapping into the crown. We're going to go into our vinyasa flow. Of course, I'm going to come to the front of the mat. And we're going to lengthen up. And arc it back. Don't jam into the lumbar. Lift through the heart, root to the feet. Feel those points expanding and opening. And then come back to center. And arms sweep out to the side. If you can, interlock. If it's too much, reach the arms back. Again, that shoulder opening. So important for Anahata chakra. And we're going to take it and bend the knees and place the hands down. Step back with the right foot. Reach into strong through that back leg. We'll pulse a few times in our lunge. So inhale, belly, heart, head lifts. Exhale, rounded spine. One more time. Inhale, belly, heart, head lifts. Strong through the back leg. Exhale, rounded spine. Now we tap onto our knee. That right knee touches down. We bring our hands, you can use blocks here on your side to come up if that works for you. And just let's just practice now sweeping the arms in our lunge. So the arms reach back, opening wide. And then notice as we come forward, the hips sink down and the arms reach down. We're going to do this in a flow, but slow enough to feel it. So we're opening the heart and the hips simultaneously. And that quality of expansion. And we know a big principle in yoga and other philosophies in the heart chakra is service to others. And from here, what we're going to do is soften those shoulders and then expanding front, back, and sides, just like we do in our Virabhadrasana 1. One more time, pulse it up. So reflecting on practices for the heart is service to others. There are things we know, of course, in building loving, stable relationships, trusting relationships. 3 times. And then from here, turn the back toes under if they're not already. Lift off of that right knee and step back into plank. Strong line of energy, or it could be knee, chest, chin. Bring one forearm down and the other. Couple breaths here. Try not to collapse the belly or the head. And then come on top of the lower thighs, unfurl the toes. And this is what we're going to do a little bit more shoulder opening in our Sphinx pose before we go into Cobra. So what that looks like, so this is where we add those shoulder rotations to most of the poses we're doing today to move into the heart center. So we do this one side to side, or I usually do. So do this a couple times, side to side. But then, as arms are on the outer corners of the mat, the legs are strong, okay? So the feet, tops of the feet are touching. We're inhaling, and we're lifting the shoulders by the ears on purpose, and then rolling them down and coming down for a moment. So we'll do this 3 times. Inhale, strong legs, shoulders by the ears, circling down, and then naturally your body comes down. You feel this massage through the belly, through the root, second, third chakras. All the chakras open in this one, but we're focusing on the Anahata, circulating the shoulders. And then when you're ready, feet come in a little bit. And we're going to, actually, let's bring them in closer. It's called mermaid legs. This means the inner borders of the feet touch. The arms come down by our side. The forehead touches. And we're going to lift up into a Salambhasana. Inhale, lift the upper body. Several breaths here. Pulse with the breath. Legs strong. This keeps the integrity of the strength moving through all the chakras, all the energy centers, and maybe reach out those wings of joy, expanding the wings of joy, and then ease. Do this several times, pulsing up, open hearted to meet the whatever's going to appear moment to moment, day by day. And then this third one, feet hip width apart. We're going to rise up into regular Bhujangasana or King Cobra. Inhale. Come on up. Add the lion's breath, legs strong, shoulders down. Stick out the tongue as you exhale. So a little bit more movement in our locust. Knees touch down and either rest in child's or rounded cat. So it could be resting or more active. Drawing in, either way, it's a yin phase here. And then a yang extension out. And again. You want to ease back towards your heels, you're welcome to. And scoop it out. Okay. Tigger's joining us. And we're going to hover off of the knees. We know all the main physical cues. Keep pressing into especially the thumb, the index finger. But then widen as you press through the thumb index. Move up widen through the shoulders. Feel that widening. Hear the breath. Have the hips wider, but the inner thighs rolling in. Notice if you want to stay stable or if you want to ripple a little bit. Coming out into our plank and then rippling through. Combo is always optional. Extension and fluidity. Stability if you want to stay here. I've said it many times, if I'm feeling ungrounded, I'm going to stay more in a stable pose. If I'm wanting a balance, I'll do both. If I'm needing more flow, there's just too much rigidity going on, add the flow. Okay. Let's go ahead and step the opposite leg. Well, let's first, sorry, I'm retracting. Let's start from our Uttanasana. And let ourselves rest, soften the knees. If you want to massage the scalp, no problem. Relaxing unnecessary mental burdens. And letting go, the art of letting go. Bending the knees, strengthening. Purposely doing Uttanasana as we feel the earth and the ground underneath us. Inhale, coming up. Step into the spiritual eye, crown. And step forward here. Feel the space all around you and just feel this access, widening of the heart. And then when the arms are out, it's going to circle and sweep side to side. And as we know, like our second and third chakra, also our fourth, play, joy is a part of it. And we know big ones on that are animals and kids. But of course, we can also play. And we don't have animals or kids. That play is definitely makes the heart happy. So breathe in either the mudra of the lotus or the eagle heart mudra. I think a play is, of course, with another, but it can be self-guided as well. Just tune in and bring others onto the mat with you. Now prayers of care for their highest wisdom and truth by tapping into the spiritual eye. May they know loving kindness. May they be blessed. May they know peace and ease. And arc it back and may they be happy. Lengthen and open. Root to the feet. Lift through the heart. And then inhale, lengthen up. Swan dive forward. We're going to step the opposite leg back, the left leg back. Mat here into our lunge. Hold the knee ankle perpendicular. Kind of pulse up through the belly, the heart, the crown. And then exhale round. Do that one more time. Pulsing up. And exhale round. Coming on top of that left knee, or underneath it, I should say. And walking in, trying to find your balance here. If it doesn't work to reach your arms coming up right, you could go into that deeper lunge toward the floor. So just make sure that your hips open, and then we're adding the deeper heart opening. So we reached back last time. Now notice the difference, it's subtle. When we reach forward, and then we're still going back, but it feels different to me as we surge forward. You can have mudra if you want, and then arc it back a couple times. Compassion is a big takeaway for the heart center, compassion to self. And then, yeah, as we sweep, we did the warrior one arm. So we brought the arms here, opening to giving and receiving love. Breathing in, breathing out. Service to others, healthy relationships. And of course, with that comes healthy boundaries. So practice on that. Okay, and now from here, we come down. And we're going to walk our arm in, press that back leg, the left knee off the ground, step it back to plank. Let's tap to the side if you can. That right foot one time to the outer corner of the mat. And then back to center. And left foot outer corner. Back to center. Either knee, chest, chin chaturanga or classic chaturanga. Coming down to the earth. Let's take a rest here. Stack one hand on top of the other. Full yogic breath. Belly, heart, expansion of the spiritual eye, that Christ consciousness, Buddha, compassion, Kuan Yin. Soften the shoulders. Any deity figures that speak to you, that embody compassion. Understanding and forgiveness. And we're going to do that work on the, let's start with our feet hip width apart again, no wider. And that shoulder, hands on the outside of the mat, just a little bit, so that we, again, when we rise up, legs are strong, shoulders come up by the ears. You might want to go a little higher this time, and then rotate down. Massaging the scapula. Inhale, shoulders up. Usually I always say shoulders away from the ears. They will eventually, but we're specifically adding the rotation. Feels kind of good to me. Exhale, sound out. Excellent. Mermaid legs, inner borders of the feet closer together, legs strong so much that the knees are gently off the earth. You'll feel that. You may not see it. It doesn't matter to see it. And we'll do our 3-part Salabhasana locust. So inhale, pulse it up. Rise up with the arms by your side. Exhale, recharging the spine and the heart. Arms out to the side. Inhale, pulse it up. Mermaid legs are strong. Open. Opening the wings of joy. Relax. A little more challenging if you want to go there. Arms out in front of you. Flying through the airway, breathe. Super person pose. Inhale, pulse it up. Exhale down. It's a little harder to fully breathe here for me. Inhale, expand. And now luxuriate in the full yogic breath, feet wider apart. Resting at the spiritual eye. Really inflate the torso with the breath. Oceanic sound. So more with the locust series to do our back bends in different ways to really hydrate. And then we're warmed up to go a little bit deeper, perhaps as we rise up into King Cobra, Bhujangasana. Legs strong, tops of the feet pressed down. And then definitely shoulders down on this one. Stick out the tongue. High gaze up. Okay. Ease back. So we're all going to take several breaths here in child's pose, but then move into hare pose. So if you can't sit back toward the heels, possible arms come back by your side. You can always use a bolster to rest the forehead down or block. So I'm just noticing a little bit of heat moving through the body with the locust series. So hare pose, rabbit pose. If you can, clasp onto your heels. You want to tuck the chin quite a bit, and the forehead, I'm going to walk my knees in a little bit more. Forehead toward the knees so that when we lift off of the heels, we're rolling onto the top of the crown of the head. So we roll up, and we breathe. And the affirmation is, I am master of my body. I am master of myself. So we're opening up to mastery, which yoga is a lot about self-mastery, having a pathway to divinity. Try not to get sidetracked. Keep coming, if you do, keep coming back to the path. I'm master of my body. I'm master of myself. Feel the back of the heart there, and then ripple down, create some space. I'm going to open up the knees wider. I'm going to stretch the arms out in front. You want to lift off the wrists, you can. You want to let the palms rest. Hear that oceanic sound. Let the guide and comfort you again and again. Coming back to the heart center. And then the heart center is peace and compassion. All right, so let's round up again. Slide the hands back, hips side to side. All righty, so we'll go ahead and turn the toes under. And our friend, the down dog, we're lifting off of the knees and pouring back. Forward and back. You know where to press the thumbs, the index finger, widen through the shoulders, which will expand the heart. If you want to add breath of fire to the air, go ahead and draw the navel to the spine and squeeze. Exhale through the nostrils 10 times. Slow it down. Okay, step one foot forward, then the other. And then the hands come back. And any way that if you want them to rest at the elbows or underneath the soles of the feet, feel free to dive into your forward bend.
Cleansing the mind of unnecessary burdens. Relax and cast aside any unnecessary mental burdens. All right. And bending the knees, heart lifts, sweep the arms back, and sweep it forward. Pulse it a little bit. Reaching up, spiritual eye, eagle heart mudra or lotus mudra. There is a care for others. And feel the strength of the support of the earth holding us all. That integration. Okay, so we did a lot of forward and back movements. Now with the shoulders, we wanna work. We'll go into Virabhadrasana 1 and Virabhadrasana 2, more of that side stretch with the flow, and then we'll sustain it a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and step our right foot forward, left foot 30 degrees. So just gonna take an inventory here with the practice of compassion is making amends, and whether you do that journaling, whether you do that with another person, with a friend or a therapist, just tune in. If there's anybody you'd like to make amends to. And then we're going to flow here, okay? So we're going to inhale and go wide with the arms, shoulder, heart expansion, and then come back in. So we go wide, I attune my will to the source of all power, and then come back in, flowing. Now we reach up, lifting the heart, the arms, and then coming back in. And this one we hold it more, so the arms reach up, and then we root down with the elbows, and with the lunge. Stay here and affirm, I attune my will to the source of all power. And let's just see if the arms want to reach back more intense for that heart opener, back bend. Maybe too much, it may be just right. Find out what works for you. And then we're going to sweep out to the side. So I'm going to turn around, but you're going to just move into your Virabhadrasana 2, side stretch. Tracking that knee over the second toe. Yes. So we'll flow first. Inhale. See if this, let's just bring the left arm down, the right arm up. And then back out to the side. Joyfully manifest the power of the divine. The divine is within me. And I feel it and sense it and feel it all around me. Now this third one, see if we can hold it, maybe with a wrap, maybe with a clasp. So if you can, or use a strap, clasping as you're in your Virabhadrasana 2, or you're just modifying there. Joyfully manifest the power of the divine. Moving into the upper, the energetic center, the heart, between the lower and upper chakras, gateway. All right, in our transition, we release out. You take a moment, why not? We want to stretch that leg if you want to use a block into Trikonasana. Hand can be in front or by the little toe side of the foot. As we expand and open, I'm adding mudra, thumb, index finger together, head to tail connected. And we know this affirmation, energy and joy fill my body cells. You want to add that shoulder sweep? Feel free. Definitely a heart expansion pose, energy and joy fill my body cells. Joy is alive and well within me. Okay. Expanding and circulating, feeling, really press through the feet. And then sweeping forward. When we sweep forward, I'm going to turn around again. This is a lot. It's meant to be a lot. When we come down, and I'm going to bring my block over. And we're going to go into a very classic camel ustrasana back bend. Okay, so the block, done this before, is on the outside of the calf. Right knee is bent. And we're going to sweep the arm up. And know that you can reach your back thigh. You don't have to reach for the block. The block is there. And we open up. With calm faith, I open to the light. With calm faith, I open to the light. So this is half camel, Ardha Ustrasana. You could open to the light or thy light if there's a deity you'd like to bring in. Inhale, lengthen up. And whoo, sweep this other arm around. Let's take a rest, which is a Jani Shirshasana, before we do the whole thing to the other side. So I'm going to have the block by my side. Watch, be careful of this left knee. I'm going to step the right foot back, bring the left foot in. If you want to sit on your blanket, you're welcome to lift the cheeks up a little bit and extend the right leg. Move the cheeks to the side, root down through the sit bones. Be a great active rest after that vinyasa flow. Inhale, circling the arms, the heart open, shoulders open, peel the toes back. You can use a strap here, reaching with the heart forward, reaching the toes or the shin. Elongate first, and then fold. Melting down, relaxing the forehead, the shoulders, the eyes stay with it. And affirming, I step away from the prison of resentment into freedom, forgiveness, and compassion. This is a new affirmation for me. I step away from the prison of resentment into freedom, forgiveness, and compassion. When you feel complete, inhale, sweep the arms up, twist toward that bent knee. Exhale, feel the space around you, especially the heart center, and then add that twist. So the opposite hand to the knee, and from the core, twisting. Chin parallel. Releasing resentment and moving into freedom, forgiveness, and compassion. And slowly coming back. Very good. And we're going to draw that left knee in and up. And let's just shake it out. And get ready to flow into the whole series to the other side. Okay, so I turned around quite a bit on my mat. I hope I get the opposite side going here. Take a moment in Malasana if you can. I know this can be challenging. Rocking side to side. Okay, and then into our forward fold.
for a moment, just a transition. Bending the knees, sweeping up. And taking again another just a moment, a breath cycle in mountain pose. Offering those prayers of care to others, loving kindness to self and others, tapping in. And we're going to go into Virabhadrasana 1 to the other side. So we're going to step the right foot back, left foot forward, tracking that knee over the second toe, back foot 30 degrees. So first the flow and then the hold. Okay, so arms sweep back, a lot of arms sweeping for the shoulder heart opening, rising up, and then rooting down. We're going to go east-west with the arms, and then bring the hands to the heart in prayer, pulsing and flowing. East-west, out to the side, and back into prayer hands. Namaste. Namaste definitely symbolizes the heart chakra energy, opening up. And now sustaining it as the arms reach up. Exhale like you're pulling weights down. You could stay here, or you could bring those forearms toward one another. I attune my will to the source of all power. So always opening up in yoga, the individual self to the greater source, whatever that is for you. And I attune my will to the source of all power. Now we reach up and flow into our Virabhadrasana 2, into our Warrior 2. So I'm going to adjust my foot a little bit forward, root down, get those shoulders, hips stacked up. And we're flowing. We're reaching open, side body, and then coming out to the side again, looking over the left fingertips. I joyfully manifest the power of the divine. The power of the divine is within me. I'm attuning to it. I'm seeing the divine all around me. Now, if you can wrap that arm around more or clasp, watch those knee loves to pop forward. Keep drawing it back. We're angled with our upper body. You can strap it. You don't have to clasp. One elbow tip is up, the other is down. Several breaths here. Sustaining the pose. It's meant to be strong, warrior poses. We are the Bhagavad Gita. We are fighting those forces of light and dark. And then we unravel. And we transition. So I'm pretty wide here. So I'm going to take my block. I'm going to bring it to the instep, and I'm going to step my back foot in a little bit. I'm going to open up. I remember we interlocked. That's what I forgot. We interlocked maybe, and then we reached over into our Trikonasana. Trying to remember the flow. Add the mudra. Stack those shoulders, head to tail connected. Trikonasana. Such a great affirmation for the heart chakra. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Energy and joy fill my body cells. We got the shoulder rotation down today. So think of in your daily life, if you don't have time for a whole practice, you could add those shoulder rotations in throughout the day. And try to be aware of that. Energy and joy fill my body cells. Okay, watch the neck. It's too much, look ahead. And now the transition into half camel. So we rotate, we come down onto that right knee. I'm going to walk my left foot closer a bit. And you can see the block better.
You can have it lower, you can have it higher, whatever works for you. Go lower probably. Square up those hips, draw the left hip back, right hip forward. Tailbone down, so practicing back bends is a big part of heart opening, shoulder rotation. Definitely this is a stronger back bend, we know. I'm being kind on everybody, not doing full Uttanasana, this is half. Reaching up, reaching back. Know that your thigh is there, your calf is there, the block is there. And then with calm faith, hips come forward. I open to the light. With calm faith, I open to the light. You could say that inwardly or outwardly. You could add the thy light, a dia, Christ, conscious Christ, Buddha, Kuan Yin, Hanuman. Quality the opening to the light represents for you. And then when you're complete, whoo, cartwheel, that arm forward. And we'll do our forward bend. And we'll watch your knee here. And bring the left leg forward. And that right knee is bent. So moving the cheeks side to side. So I think I got all the poses in that flow, but somebody give me a thumbs up. So somebody give me a thumbs up if I got the poses. Okay. All right. I remember one of the classes in the past, I forgot a move, and I always think of it after or often. So thank you. Okay. All right, here we are, Jani Shushasana. Hands to the heart are calming down now. So we did the heating up, then we're calming down. We're reaching up and we're reaching forward. Use the strap if you like. Elongate the spine and then fold. Opening to giving and receiving love. Appreciating, of course, the gratitude of the heart. Focusing gratitude for all kinds of things. You know, we know when we move into our gratitude practice that things just are in that right proportion. And I have to say the other side, the shadow side, the grief, the loss, the trauma is the hard stuff. Make sure that is being attended to in a loving, compassionate way as well. Yeah, we tend to shove those to the back of the heart. So in safety, we can start to open those up with compassion and give ourselves what we need in this moment. Inhale, sweeping up. Twisting toward the bent right knee, adding the twist. So the opposite hand, keep energizing through that left leg, chin parallel, look over the shoulder. And easing back to center. We're going to draw this right knee in, and we're going to extend the leg out and shake it out. Move the cheeks side to side. I'm still in the blanket here a little bit. Paschimottanasana and double leg extension, reaching up. There's a tendency to collapse down. We want to lift up and hinge forward. So lots of ways to do. You stretch the hamstrings. You know, we've done a lot of Uttanasana. This is another way to do it on the ground, and then melting forward again. Open to giving and receiving love, staying with it, releasing resentment, and moving into freedom, forgiveness, and compassion. And you're invited to do your personal inventory of what anyone you need to make amends to. And that's usually with forgiveness work. Again, that could be
lots of different kinds of ways. Forgiveness, freedom, and compassion. Inhale, heart lifts. And sweeping up. Space all around. We're going to release the back. Coming down. Have your block, if you have a block or a bolster by your side. We'll be using that. Sure. I'm going to ripple down low, mid, upper back. I'm just checking some here. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the forgiveness of others, but the big one is self-compassion for ourselves. Ways we may not have enjoyed how we've participated in different situations in our life, and or the negative self-talk that could go on. So just tune in and bring that. I'm going to bring it into our Shavasana, the art of self-compassion, loving kindness towards self, the forgiveness towards self is a practice. So we'll bring our inner borders of the feet together and the knees apart. Circling. Just notice anything comes up, even when I say that, it might be from the way past, it might be more current. It's usually some unsettled feeling, maybe even anger or just confusion. But then we want to actually breathe into it. See if we can invoke loving kindness, and we will in our restorative. It's easier if we invoke that as we're restoring. So happy baby. Reaching up and seeing if we can grab the calves or the inner arches, moving side to side. Rocking and rolling. Using those side muscles of the back. If you want to extend one leg, go ahead. A little bit of a moment of that pose we just did, Jani Shirshasana. And then squeeze the knees in, hug, literally hug yourself, hug the knees. Thank you, body. Thank you, all you can do. Working with self-compassion for perhaps some deeper historical events in our life. We're going to do one more pose before we do a supported pose. So the fish pose, lots of drops, and I'm going to get this blanket out of the way. Another surprise, another back bend. But so we have the legs extended. And we're going to bring one forearm under the right cheek and the other under the left. Palms are down. And press through the forearms, arc the back, come lightly onto the back of the head. Inhale. Exhale, you're still pressing through the arms. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. So you open through the neck. There's a lot on the neck. If it's too much, modifying another pose. We're not going to be here too long. Really breathe into the front, back, and sides of the heart. Our soul expansion, our individual self returning again and again. And soul's always here. Press through the form to somewhere quiet. We need to attune to our soul nature that's here. Bringing one forearm out, then the other. I just want to bring my knees in to release the back again. So the invitation is, I know some of you do a shoulder stand or more of a legs up the wall for a restorative. So that's an option. Or
if you want it. In fact, actually, before we do that, sorry, I'm changing the thought again. Let's lay down here. We're laying down. Let's lower the right heel down. This is ab strengthening, and then lift the right leg up, or just do this a couple times. So no matter if you do shoulder stand or not, you're still getting that inversion and the opposite of standing. So you can always do this simple movement if you choose not to go in shoulder stand for our restorative. One of the two options is to, I'm gonna roll to the side. We've done this before, so for those of you who are going to do shoulder stand, it's usually recommended. Pretend this is a wall, and you have the bolster here, so you get that support, and you're going to go to the side, thread the needle with the arm, and say this was a wall. Okay, I'm like that up the wall. Now another wonderful heart opener is we've done this before with the double block, and that really gets to the back of the heart, the shadow stuff that can get lodged back there. I actually do this a lot in my therapy practice when we talk about whatever the issue, the challenge is, and then I'll have the client come onto the block like this. And for a lot of people, that could be a pretty sharp edge to open the back of the heart. That's why we may want to use either a bolster to soften it at an angle like that, if you can see that. Or for the practice today, I'm going to have a blanket. And at any point, this is pretty intense. So you're going to bring the back of the heart right at that lower edge of the block, and then the head is going to go on the upper block. And depending on your hip flexibility or availability, you can either go into Baddha Konasana, very open pose. Okay, it's hard to hold on when you're in this pose. If this is too much for your hips, you would extend the legs. And before I guide us through, as we're moving through our restorative pose, at any point, just know you could come down. You can come down. Sometimes I do this with clients in 3 stages. You can come down to the bolster. You could start with the bolster, the more gentle heart opener. And then ultimately you take, toward the end of Shavasana, take the bolster out and just ground down to the floor. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. See the legs at the wall, the double block, deep back of the heart opener. As we move into what this is, we've done it before. This is Tara Brach. I highly recommend her work, Buddhist psychology, practice of a radical compassion. It's called RAIN is the metaphor. You can Google that. She's a very calming voice. And the what I was attuning to back there is that we're just opening to whatever comes up, and if something comes up from your past, we're bringing compassion to it. So let me get this working, and we'll move into it. Okay, so depending how you want to set up for your restorative. Of course, it's not gonna, I don't recommend moving the head once you're stabilized, either with the block or the legs up the wall. And just allow everything to be here. Just melt into the support of the block or the bolster underneath you. Taking your time to feel, especially the connection between the belly and the heart. And breathing into the heart. And the first R of RAIN is recognizing what's going on. So just acknowledging
Any thoughts or feelings that may be coming up now? Could be just a mental whisper. There may not be anything specific, and that's fine. It's all welcome. So the second is this aspect of allowing, the A, allow the experience to be there just as it is. And try not to fix it or avoid it. Okay, we're not doing any work around it. We're just being with it. So let the shoulders soften, let the heart open, let the face and the jaw and the eyes relax. Allowing. You could even say, this belongs, or it's okay. Something's coming up. This makes it possible to deepen our attention. And the I is to investigate with interest and care, a natural curiosity. How am I experiencing this in my body? If something is coming up, we breathe into it, we open to it, we ask, what does it most need? You bring in the felt sense and then ask the inquiry. Whatever your body is being supported by, feel that support underneath you. And here's the really important, the N, the nurturing with self-compassion. If there is challenge or suffering going on, we want to, there's a natural tendency to move away from it, but we're asking ourselves to move toward it now and to nurture this part with care. So try to sense if there's a hurting place inside of you. You may offer it, you may place your hand there as warmth. Again, you ask it, does it need forgiveness, companionship, love? What does this area need? A message of reassurance? Just know you could tell this place, I'm here with you, I'm listening. Trust in your innate goodness. You could also visualize a place of healing, sometimes called the inner resource. Perhaps being bathed in that warm sun or warm water. And sometimes it's hard to, or it's difficult to offer ourselves self-compassion and love. And so if that's the case, you could bring to mind a loving being, a spiritual figure, a family member, a friend, or a pet. And imagine that being's love and wisdom flowing into you. You're taking that in. It's hard for you. It is a practice. So taking that in. Resting in the gift of becoming familiar with the natural freedom of your being at the core. We know we are whole, already free, already aware. Letting the legs rest more deeply, the feet, the ankles. Feel the warmth on the inhale, gentle coolness on the exhale. Into the breath in the heart. Seeing how the self-compassion practice was for you. And notice if there is, going to our 6th and 7th chakra, if there's any self-forgiveness you would like to bring in. Compassion, moving from judgment to understanding to forgiveness. And just notice if this is a time for you to return to movement, to do so gradually. Or you could stay in deep restoration. Forgot to mention earlier, developmentally, age-wise, 4 to 7 years old. This is where the heart center really comes to other and expansion to other, and of course keeps going after that, but in the psychological developmental stages, that's the ages. And we're going to really allow this wonderful, the 3-syllable Om sound and the Namaste, very, very, very symbolic of the heart energy, the Anahata chakra, visualizing anyone you know. We've been bringing in, may others be filled with loving kindness, may they be well, may they know peace and ease, and may they be happy. So I'm going to rub the hands together. You do what feels right to you with the 3-syllable Om sound, sending out prayers of care from our heart to others' hearts. Bringing the hands together in Namaste, acknowledging that divine life within you and recognizing that divinity within everyone and everything. That's where we are one. Bowing to the wisdom of the heart, letting it lead the way.
And of course, those who want to stay on are welcome to. Those who'd like to ease out.